Hi, my name is Eva, and this video is going to be very interesting because it's going to be about just turning vegan, raw vegan, fruitarian, or vegetarian at a very young age, because I definitely changed my eating habits at a very young age, and I really think that I could learn a lot, and I think it's important to know some things when you turn vegan or raw vegan at a very young age. So for me, maybe a very short story. I stopped eating meat when I was 12 years old for ethical reasons. I didn't want to hurt animals or kill animals. I think that was one of the best decisions that I ever took in my life, and I'm very, very grateful for my younger self that I did it. So I turned vegetarian when I was 12. When I was 15, I turned vegan, and I've learned a lot from it. I'm still vegan. I will always be vegan, but yeah, definitely I had some challenges. And then when I was 17, I got introduced to the fruitarian, raw vegan lifestyle. So when I was 16, I got introduced to this lifestyle. And then when I was 17, I tried it for the first time. And I think it's really important to know some things. So for me, the first thing that I had to learn is that when you're very young, you most probably have a good health. So it doesn't really matter how much shit you eat, so you can eat a lot of junk food and processed food and your body is like thriving. Not all the time, like there are people who are 20 years old, 18 years old, 17 years old and already feel the consequences of their bad eating habits like acne or overweight or just health issues in general. But there are also a lot of people who eat so much junk food and they feel still amazing. Because you have to understand that most of the times when people eat junk food, it will affect them some years later. So people can eat a lot of crappy food and when they're 20, they're super, like they feel healthy, but it's very important to understand that they're not detoxing. So all of the toxins that they eat and that they consume with like beauty products that are not natural, that everything will store in their body, and over the years they will get chronic long-term diseases such as cancer, heart attack and stroke. And I mean, of course, not everyone gets cancer, heart attack and stroke, but a lot of people get heart attack or stroke or those diseases. And it's really, like, I'm working in a bakery part-time to finance my studies, and it's really shocking to see so many people that are 50 years old, 60 years old, struggling with health issues. And I mean, when I did my research, I really understand that your diet plays a huge role in how you will deal with illness and how your body will deal with illness. So you have to keep that in mind, because when you go raw vegan, you're most likely to experience some health issues and healing crisis. Because when you go raw vegan or when you go vegan and eat a lot more fruit and vegetables, it's most probably that your body has now the time and energy to get rid of toxins and to get into detox, and then your body is cleaning out your body and getting rid of toxins, and that's an amazing, incredible thing. It's really, really amazing. But you have to keep in mind that you most likely will experience detox symptoms such as flu-like symptoms. You feel headaches, tiredness, maybe some people feel rashes. And my healing crisis was really terrible. Like, I was sick for 2 weeks, and also I was sick like for 3 days. Like, I was sick. So and the problem was that my parents only saw that I was sick and then didn't really see me thriving so much when I turned raw vegan. So of course my parents were really, really scared, and they didn't really know what to do. So they said, like, you cannot be vegan, you cannot be raw vegan, it's so terrible for your health. And I almost had to go to hospital and had to do a lot of blood tests and stuff. And for me, of course, it's crazy, because I know how healthy a raw vegan or fruitarian diet actually is, and it's just the best thing that you can do for your health. And so it was a really interesting but also scary situation to feel that you're doing something amazing for your health, and people are just like, oh, you're so unhealthy. So I think it's very important to keep that in mind, that when you turn vegan or vegan and eat lots of fruit and vegetables, that you might, get sick, but it's most of the time just detox symptoms, and it's not a bad thing. But yeah, it's just because for me, I think when you don't know that, and when you think that when you go vegan or vegan and you feel amazing all the time, it's just not the case for most people. Maybe, okay, 1% feels absolutely amazing every day, but for most of the time, people have some days where they don't feel that good. And it's normal, and it's a good thing, because you will save a lot of years of sickness and depression, etc., when you're old. So when you're 50 years old, you will have still amazing health, still amazing vitality, still amazing energy, and it's amazing. So so I think that's really, really important to understand that, to know that you are eating amazing and you are going to be fine when you're old. So that's great when you turn vegan and raw vegan. And yeah, it's very important to notice, because for me it was also very discouraging, because I was like preparing super healthy meals and doing so much for my health, and then there were people who were like, eating so much crappy food and they were still thriving. But you have to keep in mind that it's really a marathon, and it's about long term. The next thing that is really important to know is that it can get also dangerous. I mean, because there's this direction of like very strict fruitarianism, like breatharianism, dry fasting, and those things are really, really, really extreme and dangerous. So it's important, especially when you're young, you're still developing, like your brain is still developing, your body's developing, you're changing, so you need a lot of calories in order to just have an amazing development. So it's very important to eat enough calories and to do your research, but don't fall into this trap of thinking that you need to do dry fasting or any kinds of fasting, long-term fasting, because I think fasting has its place in healing. However, I really think that fasting, especially long-term fasting, should just be for people who have any kind of illness or who are doing this raw vegan lifestyles for like 5 years or something. So I think when you're young, you should not really go into that much fasting, because from my experience and from my research, I've learned that it's very important for you to eat enough calories, and dry fasting is very dangerous. Like, there's Robert Lockhart who died because of dry fasting because it damaged his kidneys. So don't do dry fasting, and you don't need to detox all the time. Your body also needs to rest a little bit, especially when you're young. I think it's very important that you give your body time to rest. And yeah, so, and also like drinking water, I think that that's also one thing in the fruitarian community, that people don't drink water. I think when you have amazing amazing quality fresh fruit and vegetables with a lot of water content, like you can eat watermelon every day for a meal, then okay, I understand why people might not drink water. But most of the times, like, we don't have it. I mean, during wintertime, I eat lots of dried fruit, and lots of bananas and stuff, and it's not really that much water content, so you still need to drink water. Very important. Another thing that I've learned is when you turn fruitarian or raw vegan at a very young age, is that maybe the first time you get into this movement, it's everything. So I did lots of research, and I was like, oh my god, this is the solution to so many health problems. Like, you can solve so many problems with this diet, and it's incredible. I mean, you can solve heart attack, cancer. I've watched videos of people reversing cancer with this amazing diet, so with eating lots of fruit and vegetables. So I was really amazed by it. I think my dialect is so bad, but whatever. So for me, diet was everything, and at a very young age, when you're 17, there are so many things that you haven't experienced and so many things that you still have to learn. So for me, for example, I had little to no experience in love or relationships, so I still had to learn a lot about it and had to shift my focus away from food and from diet and from nutrition to other aspects of my life. And it's the same with university and work, you know, and business. There are a lot of things that you have to learn. So for me, I want to develop into a very whole person. So I don't want to be this flat character that has just one passion and that's it. But I want to have different interests. And for me, of course, I'm going to eat raw, vegan all the time because it's just great. But it's not everything about me, and I still have a lot more things to offer. So yeah, and also the one thing, and I think it's the last thing that I'm going to talk about, is that your diet will, like, when you change your diet and your eating habits, you're going to change yourself and your life and your perspective on life. So when I turned vegan, before that, I was not really interested into I was interested into spirituality, but when I turned vegan, like, it became so much more, and I really got more into spirituality, got really more into the law of attraction, got more into fitness, especially fitness. Like, I became really fit, really fit. Also, I started yoga, which was amazing. I love yoga so much, so it really changed me as a person. I mean, I never drank alcohol, I never smoked cigarettes, but it really made me think about so many things that people do that are highly destructive to our species. And I think when you turn vegan or raw vegan, you really start to think critically. So it will really change your life, but I think in a good way. And yes, and also about, I think when you're young, you really care a lot what other people think about you. So when you change your diet and not many people eat the way that you do, it might feel like you're super alone and super lonely. And you just have to keep in mind that with the time, like the longer you do it, the less you care what other people think. Like, now I don't really care so much. I really don't really care so much what people think about me, but I think it just takes some time. So I mean, maybe it's very hard, but I can just say to you that if you're in this situation that you care so much what people think about you and that you're eating different, like, there are so many more problems that are much more dramatic, like you get your heart broken or things like this. So it's really not that big of a deal if you eat different. And if you have friends that say like, oh, you're so weird and we don't want you because you saved the animals, because veganism is just about saving animals, then that's no real friends. So yeah, I think. Is there anything else? No. I think because they're my notes. So yeah, I think I said everything. If you have any more questions, or if you're young, and maybe do I think that it's that it can be bad for your health if you turn raw vegan or vegan at a very young age? Absolutely not. So I saw lots of children, but I saw some children growing up eating a raw vegan or a vegan diet, and they're perfectly healthy. So I think it's absolutely not a big deal, and it's so amazing. If you like, I wish that I would be vegan from birth or raw vegan from birth, because it would have made such a big difference. But I think it's very important, if you go raw vegan at a very young age, that you eat enough calories, and I think that can be really, really a struggle. So yeah, but if you eat enough calories, I don't think that it's any problem at all. So yeah, I really hope that you have a good day. If you have any questions or anything, you can ask me and DM me on Instagram. My name is FRUITARIAN, and I really hope you have a beautiful day. Goodbye.